Hello and welcome back to the final Honey Island Swamp Tour.
The one and only Honey Island Swamp Tour.
We're taking you back down to the bayou for our final excursion extravaganza for Adam Green's Hatchet World. I am Patrick J. Blanchard, and with me
As
is my
always,
sidekick,
Matthew J. Blanchard.
All right.
Did we just define this as a world? Hatchet World?
Yeah.
That feels like it's a theme park.
Oh, I would totally go to that theme park.
I don't know about that. I heard on the internet, I saw somebody referring to it as the Adam Greeniverse. Because it's a shared universe amongst all his projects. And I'm not sure how I felt about that. I don't like the idea of it being a universe. It's just a movie. This is just a movie.
It's just a movie, but it's tied in with Frozen.
It is tied in with Frozen.
And Leslie Vernon.
Yes. That's the problem I have, is that it is tied to Leslie Vernon. Leslie Vernon exists in a world. The movie itself, I don't know that the version of Leslie Vernon that is referenced in Hatchet 2 is necessarily the version of Leslie Vernon that is in Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. However, Leslie Vernon exists in a world in which Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street are real. So if Leslie Vernon exists in the same world as Victor Crowley, Victor Crowley exists in the same world as Michael Myers. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I'm not sure either. This one adds another reference.
Uh-huh.
To the digging up the marrow.
It does. Which is its own unique thing that I still have not seen.
I have not seen it yet. I'm probably within the next month or two gonna order it from
Sweet.
Ariascope.
Cool.
Probably along with Frozen, Grace, maybe Spiral.
Okay. So you're just gonna get the whole collection.
I'm
no reason not to get the whole collection.
I'm gonna get the whole collection. Like I said back in our first episode, Adam Green's my guy. I got a connection.
Right.
I feel a connection.
And you do own both seasons of Holliston.
Yep.
You might as well just round out the collection. So we're here talking about the fourth Hatchet movie.
Yep.
Victor Crowley.
Victor Crowley.
We were told that there were no more coming. That it was over.
Yes.
Done.
A lot of things happened.
Right. Yeah.
Adam Green himself wrote a very beautiful, self coming forward blog about it.
Yes.
Tied up to a lot that was going on in his life. He put it out there. He was going through a divorce and depression.
Right.
And he actually came into his office every day, and there's a resin statue of Victor Crowley.
Yes.
And he started to hate Victor. He hated his creation because while it set him forward and everything, he didn't see any of the financial back end.
Right.
And other people were profiting massively
Right.
on his back. And like he did not want to make another Hatchet ever.
Yes.
And his fandom had been calling out for it.
Yes, indeed.
And Wes Craven died.
Yes. On the sort of making of on the Blu-ray, he calls that out specifically as being an impetus, which I can't fault him for that. I mean, Wes is such a luminary in the genre. I mean, name something that doesn't in some way in the genre since 1984. Let's just go with since Nightmare. Name something that doesn't have his fingers in it somehow. Name something that isn't touched by the influence of Wes Craven in a way, shape, or form.
Oddly enough, it's the second part of why he made this movie.
Yeah.
The works of George A. Romero.
Yeah.
Which they have none of Carpenter's fingerprints.
We were talking about Wes Craven, but
I mean, yeah, sorry, Wes Craven. Sorry.
But yes, and they have none of John Carpenter's fingerprints either.
But
but you're right to make that sort of leap, even accidentally, because if anything, they are the two who have hoisted, the platform that this entire current genre rests on.
yeah.
I mean, Sean Cunningham, sure, yes, but
No,
really,
he's a profiteer.
He's a profiteer. Really,
I'm not gonna fault him either.
right. No,
But
no shame in this game. All right, we've spent a lot of time talking about Sean Cunningham and what he birthed by being a profiteer. But artistically, the two people who set the tone for horror, beyond George Romero in the '60s, of modern horror, are John Carpenter and Wes Craven.
Yep.
You can throw others onto that list, but the two who have been, sort of the big influencers that have influenced many that have come after them, it's those two. Like, Sam Raimi is directly influenced by Wes Craven.
Yeah.
And Sam, has been making movies all of my life, and he's influenced by Wes.
Yes.
So, it's that kind of thing. So
But
it's a big thing when Wes Craven dies, and you're a contemporary of Wes. You're somebody who had a friendship with Wes, and you start looking at, what have I done? Where am I in this whole piece? Where do I, Adam Green, fit next to a guy like Wes Craven, who, is Wes fucking Craven?
Which is why then I mentioned George Romero.
Yes.
Because he's the answer to your question.
Yes.
And to Adam Green's question.
Yeah.
Adam was at a convention, and he was doing a talk with George A. Romero. And then it got really personal between the two of them. And Adam was explaining why he wasn't doing any more Hatchet movies.
Yeah.
And there was a deep personal communication between them. And George said, look, if the kids want a Hatchet movie,
Give him a Hatchet movie.
give the kids a Hatchet movie. You're the only one that can do this. That's your special thing.
When are you going to give him another Crowley picture? I think was what he said. It started the whole conversation. And I've got to think that's got to be even more than the personal stuff that he hasn't shared about that conversation. Because Adam has said, like, there's
a lot
stuff
more.
I'm not going to share because it's very personal. But that's got to help you kind of refocus who you are and what you do, because it's George Romero who, is sort of the father of independent film in a way, in a big bad way.
Oh, totally.
And certainly the father of independent horror, if nothing else.
Yes.
But the distribution model of George Romero through Night of the Living Dead as its sort of excuse me,
epic story in and of itself.
Epic story in and of itself, but it's sort of the copyright free moment that movie exists in, and rights neutral, I guess is the right word. And the distribution model for Dawn of the Dead sets the tone for not just horror movies that come after it, but for, without the market existing for Dawn of the Dead, there would have been no market for Clerks 20 years later. There would have been no market for, Reservoir Dogs. There would have been no market for Pulp Fiction. The release model that Romero shows has value becomes the independent feature film market, the IFFM, the thing that helps independent films get to distributors in the 80s and 90s.
Yep.
He's the father of it all in a lot of ways.
And we talked, just a brief sidebar real quick.
Yeah.
In number 2, we talked about Hatchet 2 being released unrated.
Yep.
Dawn of the Dead was the last one that was released unrated to major chains prior to Hatchet 2.
Yep. Very much so. So, I mean, you've got to kind of look at, when George Romero's like, you do what you do. This is what you do that's special. Do it. George Romero never stopped doing what he did.
No,
he kept giving us of the dead pictures.
And
Boom.
And he came out and played in Hollywood for a moment and was like, fuck this noise. I don't like this place. And went back to Pittsburgh and kept on keeping on.
And kept on making of the dead pictures. Long after there was a market for them. Long after people were like, I want more of the dead pictures. Like, Zombies on an Airplane? I still haven't seen it.
Neither have I.
I don't know that I need to. But I get where it's coming from. And that's, I can see how that would be personally affecting for anyone. Most notably somebody who tracks the same path, you know? And that's, this has been my takeaway from the whole thing these last couple of weeks. I like Adam Green and the story of his life, and I like him as a person far more than I like his fucking movies. I think the story of everything he was going through and everything he was able to sort of, you know, get to get this movie made, to get Victor Crowley made, is a compelling human drama, and I feel for him, and it touches me, and I like it. And I want to hear more about it. I like that more than I like Victor Crowley, the film. I like the story of the little kid who creates Victor Crowley, and then 20 years later makes a movie about the thing he came up with when he was, you know, trying to one-up the other kids in a scary story contest at camp. I think that's a more compelling story than the actual movie that I saw.
I enjoy the fact that around-ish the same time that we were using a handheld camera to shoot around a short around a campus, a college campus that you worked on, because that's what we had available.
Yep.
He was doing the same thing with equipment from his job.
Yeah, sure.
And we didn't make it.
No,
he did.
He did. Yeah. And I look at Adam Green as a success story for the type of filmmaking that I was attempting to do in my late teens, early 20s. He did it. I didn't. And he made it. I didn't.
In his mid-20s, because we're the same age, he and I.
Yep. And it's one of those things that it would be easy to envy him all that too, and I don't. I get it.
Yeah.
There's a level of commitment and dedication and hunger that you have to do it, and he had it, and I don't know that I necessarily did. So I love the story of Adam Green. I like Adam Green.
Yes.
I don't always like Adam Green's social media presence. He's kind of a dick sometimes, but that's okay. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But the movies are where I feel it falls down. And that's, if you're listening, Adam Green, and I hope you are, that'd be great.
That would be really great.
It's not a criticism of you or even of the work. It's just, there's more in there, and I've seen it. I know I've seen it. I've seen it in Holliston. I've seen it, I've seen it in the way you write personally. I've seen it in, the articles you've written comparing your work to other artists' work. I've seen that there's more there. I'd like to see the more that's there.
I see it in the blogs.
Yeah, sure.
Like when
sure.
his year wrap-up blogs are compelling, and like I've been brought to tears on years.
He is capable of that kind of storytelling. I just haven't seen it fully reveal itself. Maybe it's in Spiral, which I haven't seen. Maybe it's in Digging Up the Marrow, which I haven't seen. It's possible.
Yes.
But I feel like there's some place where he can leave it all on the table, and he hasn't done it yet. And Hatchet wasn't it, and Hatchet 2 wasn't it, and Victor Crowley's not it yet. But I'm also fine with it being not about that.
Yeah.
If the Hatchet movies aren't your, reveal your secret soul movies, Adam Green, I think that's okay.
I love the story that you are still out there putting them out.
Yeah, sure.
You are making these movies, Adam
Yes.
Green. He's making them. So much, in fact, that I love the story
Mm-hmm.
of Victor Crowley.
Yeah.
In that, so he gets motivated. He
Right.
talks to Wes Craven dies. He has this big talk with George A. Romero, and then the first thing I heard was in 2017 it was going to be the 10-year
Yeah.
anniversary of Hatchet.
Yep.
So he books a 10th anniversary showing of Hatchet in one of the big LA theaters.
Yep.
I see it advertised about a month out. It was the first time I see it. I'm like,
Right.
oh man, I wish I could get to LA and go see this 10th anniversary showing of Hatchet because he's going to talk and I really would like to meet him.
Right.
And I got friends in LA that I could stay with if I was
Yeah.
out there.
Totally.
But it didn't happen. And then the next day, come to find out that he gets up to show this movie. He's giving a talk ahead of time, and it's going to be the 10th anniversary show in Hatchet. He's like, how would you folks like to see a new Victor Crowley movie?
Right.
And he shows Victor Crowley. He has made a Hatchet movie in secret.
Right. In the way secret.
Like
no one knew.
in today's media obsessed world,
It's insane.
he managed to keep this a secret for
Yeah.
a year, working on the project, getting it out there. He was saying that he was making a movie about Arwen's fancy dinner plate.
Right. Which, that's
Which Arwen is his pet dog, a Yorkie.
yes.
And
Which we referenced last week because Arwen is referenced in Hatchet 3.
And the thing about the fancy dinner plate is sometimes his dog refuses to eat, so he has to get a fancy dinner plate,
Right.
transfer the food from the regular dog bowl, the regular dog dish, to the fancy dinner plate, and Arwen will eat.
Right.
Like he's got a prima donna puppy dog.
Well, it happens.
Yes.
Um,
But
Yeah.
he makes this movie in secret and then shows it, and then goes on a tour,
yeah.
taking it across the country,
Mm-hmm.
taking it to London.
Yeah.
It's just the story of it is just phenomenal.
And it's compelling.
This is
But
another reason why when we went after Nightmare and we said, what do we do next? I picked these because not only do I enjoy the movies, I like you. I love Adam Green.
right. And that's the problem. So you actually enjoy the movies.
Yeah.
My problem is I like Adam Green. I don't give a shit about these movies. Yeah, sure. It's a fun reference to the genre. It's a fun nod to other movies that I like. But at the end of the day, would I rather watch a Hatchet movie or a Nightmare movie? I'd rather watch a Nightmare movie.
Ah.
Would I rather watch a Hatchet movie or one of the Fridays? I'd rather watch a Friday. Frankly, I'd rather sit through a Friday that I don't like than a Hatchet that I don't like.
But would you rather watch a Hatchet or a Slumber Party Massacre sequel?
Clearly a Hatchet, but I would never watch a Slumber Party Massacre sequel in the first place.
The second one's okay.
Right. See, but I wouldn't do that to
I
myself.
do. That's why
See,
I
I have
these.
standards.
See that sounds like a dog whistle for snob.
It is. I'm a snob. I'll admit it.
I am not.
I am. I will flat out admit I am a film snob, and these are bad movies.
These are great fun romps.
See, you find the fun. I don't always. I enjoyed 3. I enjoy Victor Crowley. I feel like Victor Crowley, which we're about to really dive into. I feel like it's the best of the Adam Green directed 3.
I do feel that.
It's the most It's the most film-like, because I talked about my feelings on number 2 being almost made for television, and the first one not being quite cohesive. This one's a movie. I'll grant it that. It's a 3-act structured movie, and it's shot well. I gotta wonder if part of that's because Will Barrett had to back out and wasn't the DP. I mean, I'm just...
It is a commonality, a common factor amongst
Right.
the other two.
Right. You know, all three of those... All three. 'Cause
All three.
Will Barrett was the DP of the movie. He didn't... Adam didn't direct.
Yeah.
And all three of them have a similar kind of flat look. This one's got more depth of field. This one's shot better. It's a better frame. So it makes me wonder, is the limiting factor Will Barrett? Is the limiting factor that Adam hadn't grown to the point he has making this movie? Is it a combination of both? Is it neither? And I'm not calling Will Barrett out. I'm not saying he's a shitty cinematographer. That's not it at all. I'm just saying that it makes me question what wasn't firing on all thrusters in those other two movies that worked well here but didn't work well
Right.
over 10 years ago. It could just be the fact that it was over 10 years ago.
Yes.
In the case of one, and 7 years ago in the case of the other, 8 years ago. But yeah, so he does come back, and he does make another Victor Crowley picture. And the first thing you got to do with that is you got to figure out how to bring Victor Crowley back. How do you do that?
Well, you start with an opening that's set in the past when he was alive.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do.
And then you do the thing that I said he hadn't done yet. I feel, in some ways, we talked about, they want another Hatchet movie. I think he just wanted to kill a Michael Myers.
Wow.
He made this movie to kill a Michael Myers.
I mean, technically, he made his killer Michael Myers. Because the second he had an opportunity to make a Michael Myers Halloween short, he just made Victor Crowley Michael Myers. So
I know,
just saying.
but he hadn't killed a filmic
yes,
Michael yet.
he hadn't killed a filmic Michael, and I would argue he still hasn't.
No, he's killed a filmic Michael. He hasn't killed the Shape yet.
That's true. There you go. That's fair. I will accept that distinction. Because we do have this 50s or 60s set opening sequence.
64.
64 did say the year. That's right. In which Jonah Ray, who is... I love Jonah Ray.
I don't know what he's from.
Oh, you don't know Jonah Ray? Okay, he's one of the hangers-on for Chris Hardwick.
Okay.
And he's had a comedy show with Kumail Nanjiani. It was an improv show, and they would host and bring up other comics at a comic book shop in L.A.
Okay.
And then he became the third host of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
I still have not seen those.
You should check it out. The new Netflix MST3K is a lot of fun, and he's the host.
Okay.
He's acerbic. He's fun. MST3K is actually coming to town with Joel. So just saying.
What Joel?
Yeah, we'll talk about this off mic.
We could pause right now, folks, but we're going to continue.
Right.
We're going to speed through this. Love you, Adam Green, but Joel, man.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But back to this. So Jonah Ray, who I think is pretty funny, and I enjoy him, is a dude who's getting in. He's asking his girlfriend to marry him on a boat, and they hear the call.
They hear Daddy,
right,
in that distinctive Victor Crowley.
So they go to try to figure out what's going on and help. It's the 1960s. We have to go help that person, which is not a thing you heard in any of the three previous Hatchet movies.
No.
which is fucking amazing. It's a great meta textual commentary on who we are as people in the 2000s versus who we were in the 1960s.
It's yes.
I mean, and it's one of those things. It's like I don't know that kind of metatextual storytelling could have existed in Hatchet 1 or Hatchet 2. I don't know that Adam would have had that in him.
No.
But he does now.
He does.
You know what I'm saying? In his 40s, he's got that. I don't know if he had it in his 20s and 30s. So, yes. And they run across someone who tries to convince them not to help. And the big gentleman who convinces them not to help is none other than Tyler Mane, who, as you point out, indeed is Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie Halloween remakes. And Victor Crowley kills all fucking 3 of them.
He does.
And beautifully, too. Like, he just tears through them. Like Crowley is unleashed in this film before and after his rebirth.
Yes.
Like even the pre-curse lifted Crowley from the cold open is more dark and terrifying than the Crowley we saw in the previous 3 movies.
Yes. It's like there I've mentioned this before, there's a light-hearted tone to Hatchet.
Yeah.
Which got slowly shredded away.
This movie brings it back.
It brings it back, but it's a different light tone.
It is. It shifts the focus of it a little bit.
And the darkness of these kills in the opening cannot exist in the original light.
No, definitely not. So these 3 get splatter killed, basically. And then we flash forward to the present of the movie, which is 10 years after Hatchet 1. Because Hatchet 2, and Hatchet 3 all happen over the course of 3 days in 2007. It is now 2017.
Yes. Over the credits, the story of Victor Crowley that has been told in every movie is retold.
Yes.
So that no character has to go through it.
Yes.
And bam, you know what if you're new to this,
right,
you get the story. And in such a manner that
I feel sorry for anybody who's new to Hatchet coming in at Victor Crowley. Because while I feel like it deals with the plot, it deals with the backstory really quickly to get you in, this movie is so reliant on the backstories that you will get lost.
I totally dig that in the opening, when they're telling the story, that they flash up articles, and that one of the articles is from Amanda Fowler.
Yeah.
Who was from Hatchet 3. We talked about her in the last
Yes,
cast.
Indeed.
So then it's after that, it's 2017. It's 10 years later. It's a talk show.
It's a talk show indeed. It's Sabrina. With special guest today, Andrew Young, because Perry Shen is still alive, god damn it.
The lone survivor of the Honey Island Swamp Massacre.
Lone survivor. Damn. Okay,
he's there promoting his book, I Survivor.
Yes, indeed.
Which you can now buy.
Yes. I don't want to.
I don't want to, but I do.
Like, what's in that book?
I don't know. Like, I'll probably get it.
Right. So yes, Perry Shen, once again, star of this franchise. If you didn't know.
And legit this time.
This time, yes, legitimately, he is. He's one of the stars of this movie. Someone else is going to give him a run for his money for leading status in this film. And that person's going to definitely give him a run for his money. We'll talk about her in a minute. So he's releasing his book, and he's on this terrible talk show. And through backstory over the course of the film, we will learn that this woman is his ex-wife. He is on his ex-wife's TV show. And the interview does not go well.
No.
Andrew has he's not living his best life. And then we cut to this group of filmmakers, ironically enough. Chloe, Alex, and Rose. Rose, played by Laura Ortiz. If you were listening back in episode 2, when we were talking about Hatchet 2,
on the Doug
Yes.
Shapiro
Tapes.
perv reel.
Yeah, the ones found by Jack Cracker. There is footage of Laura Ortiz playing a 14-year-old character named Rose. Intentionally, this is the same character.
Yes.
So she is literally tied into the lore of the franchise. Laura Ortiz, who is one of the 4 stars of Holliston and is one of Adam Green's best friends. He decided that she would have to be in this movie and found a way to bring her in, and then just literally said, fuck it, let's make you the character you were before.
And you're going to play against type because I want to see you stretch.
Yeah, because she's usually the bubbly, cute, funny one.
Yeah.
She's not that here.
Apparently, she wanted more nudity.
Oh, wow.
And Adam said no. He's like, you're like my sister.
Yeah,
and
no.
I'm having a problem shooting you from behind as it is.
Nice. I don't know anything about the actress Katie Booth, but Alex, the character, the actor who plays Alex, is Chase Williamson from John Dies at the End, which Adam is a huge fan of, he says, and the actor was a huge fan of Adam Green, so it was match made in heaven. And these 3 are in Louisiana to make a trailer for their movie.
Yes.
So this character Chloe, who you imagine is to be the final girl here, she's Adam Green.
She is set up to be the final girl.
She is set up to be the final girl, and she's set up to be Adam's sort of stand-in.
Yes.
And they're making their indie horror trailer called Hatchet Face. Hatchet Face, which I love. And Chloe wants to meet Andrew Young at his book signing. So she's going to go to the book signing with her boyfriend and Laura Ortiz's Rose to try to convince Andrew to be in Hatchet Face.
Or at least be in Hatchet Face,
the trailer. Exactly. So they show up at this book signing. This book signing that is not going well. We're introduced to Andrew's publicist, who is Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp 2?
No,
One, yeah. Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp, yeah.
Angela, as it were, the titular
Right,
character.
yes. Yes, exactly. And book signing goes terribly. There's a great there's a great commentary
on nudity.
On nudity in film, and it's interesting because after signing someone's tits, a dude comes out and asks Andrew to sign his dick.
Yes.
And just whips it out and drops it on the desk, and it's like, what? You sign your tits? What's the difference?
Sign my cock.
Right. And it's a good statement on gratuitous nudity. It's fair.
Yeah.
It's a fair criticism, which again, I don't know the Adam Green of Hatchet would have made the same kind of critique.
Yeah.
Much like earlier when I was talking about the 64 who we were in the 60s willing to help.
Who we are now, yeah.
I don't know that he would be willing to do that in the first film.
But I'm glad that he is now.
Exactly. I think it's first off, it's hilarious. Second off, yeah, that's a fair point.
Yes. Then we get a fun cameo.
Yes.
Tied to the
yes, we
the
do.
mythos. Skip, brother of Chad, from Hatchet 2, shows up with a picture of Chad because Chad died.
Yep.
In the swamp, and he's pretty sure that Andrew Young is
Young
the cause
the
of
reason,
it.
Yeah.
And with him is one of the producers. The woman with him is one of the producers, who has been with Ariascope for forever.
Yes.
She plays the waitress in Holliston.
She plays the waitress in Holliston. We have not called her out. She has been in all 4 Hatchets.
Yep.
She was the assistant to the sheriff in Hatchet 3. I'm blanking on where she was in Hatchet 2, but I know she was there.
Yeah.
And in Hatchet 1, she was at Marie Laveau's, right?
Laveau's,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I'm blanking on where she was in Hatchet 2, but I know she was there.
Yeah.
Like,
Because she was there.
Right.
Shooting and stuff.
Yeah.
So she was there.
And well, I mean, I know she was in the movie as well. She's been in all 4. But yes, it's Sarah, and one of the deputies is named after her, Sarah Elbert.
Yeah.
In the previous movie, so we didn't call her out. We should have.
Should have all along. Sorry, Sarah.
Sorry.
Sorry, Lewis.
Oh, sorry, Lewis. So the kids come up and they're asking him to be in the movie, but his
Kathleen, the publicist,
pulls him away. She's getting another offer, which she tells him will net him $1 million, and all he has to do is give an interview about the events at Honey Island. At Honey Island, and they're just gonna fly over Honey Island and land. They're gonna get some shots from the airplane in the air of him talking about it, and then they'll land. They'll ask him a few questions. They're done.
He's not going back to that swamp.
He's refusing until he hears $1 million, and then he agrees.
Like, he walks at 600,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's like, no, I'm not going back there. I am not going back there.
1 million. All right.
And then there's a shot of acceptance on his face and a dissolve to him sitting on the plane.
Yes. And we get this introduction of everybody on the airplane first. And the airplane is we get the sound guy named Austin, who is played by Brian Quinn. Brian Quinn of Impractical Jokers. Who was a Kevin Smith find way back in the day. He was in Dogma. He was in the unreleased Brian Lynch film Big Helium Dog. He was in Vulgar.
Sorry. That's a man. We have brought up Vulgar twice in in Honey Island Swamp.
Yeah, and I'm still not rewatching it.
No.
And we're not reviewing it for this podcast.
Noah should watch.
Noah should watch Vulgar. Yes. Noah and Gavin should watch Vulgar and review it for us. Yes. That is a challenge. Noah, Gavin, watch Brian Johnson's Vulgar.
We'll lend it to you.
Yeah, well, I'll let you keep it. Okay, so Brian Quinn is a Kevin Smith group guy who I've interacted with on the forums back in the day. His old VSQ forum handle was BQ. His nickname, apparently, in the Arescope world is BQ. So not much has changed.
I finally recently interacted with one of the old VSQ board people. I told you this. I got to chat through somebody's Facebook with Vincent Pereira.
My man Vinny P. Man, I miss Vincent Pereira. Who I used to talk to on the Film 411 message board, not the VSQ message.
I thought you did both with him.
Vinny P didn't really post on the VSQ board much.
Okay.
But he and I interacted pretty heavily on the Film 411 board. He looked at my script at one point. We talked. We pitched ideas back and forth. He was a little mentor. And then I never made a movie, and that's okay because he never made a second one. Vinny, if you're listening. Then we get the camera girl, Casey, who is clearly in a relationship with the sound guy, Austin, played by Tiffany Shepis.
Shepis.
That's right.
Shepis. We met Shepis.
Yes, we did.
And we were like, "Oh, Shepis, where are you going?" She's like, "Oh, I'm trying to go get a drink, guys. You want to come?"
Yes, indeed. And we followed Tiffany Shepis to drinks.
Because she's Tiffany Shepis.
Right? And then that's where we ran into Anthony Michael Hall having drinks. Fun.
No, Shepis was at the first one.
Oh, right. Shepis was at number 1. That's right. That's right. Yes. Sorry. Who did we follow to drinks with Anthony Michael Hall? That was also, we followed somebody. I don't remember.
I cannot remember. I just
It
remember
doesn't matter,
I just
but
remember
we met
Shepis. Ooh, it's
Tiffany
Tiffany
Shepis.
Shepis.
Then there's a makeup guy, Jay, played by Tez Yancey, who I've not seen in anything.
I'm not.
And then we find out who is hosting this interview. And it is Sabrina from earlier.
Say what?
And the pilots.
Oh, God,
I
love the pilots.
are, in fact, Adam Green and Joe Lynch. Now, what I love about this is that this has a double layer meta-ness to it. Okay? Because, first off, they are Adam and Joe, who go together great on Holliston.
Yes.
And they're almost using the Holliston dynamic as they're cracking a joke together. Like their timing is a Holliston punchline setup. Adam starts it, Joe finishes it. It's a Holliston punchline.
Well, it was set up before Holliston.
I mean the delivery of their dialogue,
Well,
the punchline of their joke in this movie is delivered in the same 1-2 setup punch that a typical punchline setup on Holliston is, where Adam starts and then Joe finishes the same punchline. And then Adam throws a tag on the end. We're not getting on a boat. And that's it gives you a little taste of the two.
Yes.
But the other thing is, it is kind of a reference to Holliston, because the plot line of Adam and Joe's movie on Holliston, Shin Pads, is about a soccer team that has an encounter when their plane crashes in the swamp. This is Shin Pads, but it's not.
When they score, you
lose.
die.
Yeah, you die. Yes, but I mean that's.
Yeah.
Did you caught that right?
And
You didn't put the shin pad spin on it.
I didn't put the shin pad spin on it.
Okay, because I even have in my notes shin pads. Because I want to see shin pads. I want to see the movie within the movie get made. If he can make Andrew Young's book, I want to see him make shin pads. I want to pay to see shin pads. Meanwhile, the three characters who are based on the sort of real Adam Green, not the fake Adam Green of Holliston, are off making their trailer.
Yes.
For their movie,
Hatchet Face.
And they're taking a tour of Honey Island Swamp, and they've gotten a free tour of Honey Island Swamp by employing Dylan, who's an actor, and Dylan, who's played by Dave Sheridan, who, if you've seen Dave Sheridan in something, I guarantee it.
Particularly if you like scary movies.
Yes, if you saw Scary Movie, he's Deputy Doofy. And Dave Sheridan is one of those actors who can literally reinvent himself in every role. So you might not realize you've seen Dave Sheridan, but you've probably seen Dave Sheridan.
Love him.
And he's great in this.
Like
He's fucking amazing.
Like just to give you the character that he's playing. He's a part-time actor, swamp boat tour guide, who, when he comes into scene coming out of a building in daylight. He comes out of the building wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
And as soon as he's out in the sunlight,
Takes them off.
Yeah.
Like, he's brilliant. What they have to do for their trailer is for authenticity. Chloe wants to make sure that they recite the curse to bring Victor Crowley back, and they want the actress who is Rose or Ortiz to say it exactly correct. So they're watching videos of it on YouTube of people reciting the Victor Crowley curse. And as the video playlist progresses, it's random person, random person, random person, unnecessary random person, Reverend Zombie. It is video footage of Reverend Zombie saying the Victor Crowley curse. Someone who knows the fucking curse.
Yes.
Which is just boom. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say of all the ones who were saying it, the one who said it right was Reverend Zombie. And that's what brought Victor Crowley back. And Victor Crowley indeed does come back. And the plane that Andrew is on indeed does crash in the fucking bayou.
It's almost like at the moment the curse is enacted, boom.
Yeah. And then we're on the rails. Here we are. There's no more plot, really, at this point. It's everyone's going to die. But it's more of a survival movie at this point. So
And there's wonderful stuff.
Oh, there's some great stuff. But there's really no momentum to the plot anymore. It all just stops and becomes survival mode.
And after the crash, and there's a brief recovery, everybody's looking around. There's a bit earlier where Kathleen, the publicist, takes some kind of pills.
Yes.
And through the crash, one dude is cut in half.
Jay, the makeup guy, is cut in half.
Another dude is pulled out of the window and drops right at Laura Ortiz's feet.
Yes.
Rose's feet, so they know something's up and hearing the crash. So that's a terrifying moment. Casey is trapped under a seat with rising water. Everybody is messed up. Sabrina's cut and her weave's all messed up. And then there it is. Kathleen, who has taken the drugs, is just laying asleep in her seat.
Yeah.
And we get it. Perry Shen turns and goes, "Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God, it's a Hatchet goddamn movie."
Yes, it is. All right, so let's run the list. So Jay got thrown through the wall, got cut in half. The pilot, this is Joe, got his face removed. We never saw what happened to the Adam Green pilot.
No.
He's just not in the seat anymore. What happened to Adam Green? Somehow, we never see.
So
It's possible Adam Green survived.
Dylan and Rose rush off.
Yes.
To aid the survivors.
Exactly. Leaving Chloe and Alex to deal with, well, nothing. But eventually they have to deal with Crowley.
Yes.
Alex gets his face smashed and his head taken off with a hammer. Trying to figure out how to get to safety, to get a boat so that they can save Casey. Austin gets the top of his head lopped off and his brains fall out.
Yes.
Kathleen gets her arm ripped off, then shoved through her body. Chloe gets dragged to the airplane and set on the ground next to it, but is left alive for a while. Like she's a taunt to try to pull everybody out, and you think, oh my God, what the fuck's going on here?
And everybody is in the plane fuselage, and they play a lot with tension.
Yeah.
And Victor Crowley appearing and disappearing.
Yes.
You see him past a window. You're not sure if you see him.
Yep. He's on the roof of the fucking airplane at several points.
It's a goddamned horror movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's a survival horror. Like Adam Green,
You've made a horror movie.
You've accelerated your path.
Yes,
Here you are.
totally,
This is
totally.
The writing is there. The direction is finally following it.
And you keep waiting for somebody to go out and save Chloe. And then he fucking stomps through Chloe's head and you realize Chloe is not the final girl. Well, of course she's not the final girl. Perry Shen is the final girl in this franchise. Okay. Sabrina, Casey drowns finally because they can't save her.
And in the commentary, and I believe this is the hardest kill in the series to watch.
Yeah.
Because
It's the only real one.
It's so fucking real. And there's nothing they can do. She's pinned. They can't save her. You, as an audience member, are pulling for her to be saved, and you can't.
Yeah.
It's not like the cartoonish violence that often shows up. This is a moment.
Yeah.
There is a moment in the Hatchets.
Oh yeah. Sabrina runs off. Her and Rose are kind of running through the woods as a distraction. There's a moment where everybody's kind of separated, and Dylan is trying to get the engine started on the plane. There's a great moment when he finally gets the power to the radio, and he's calling for help, and he's made himself the captain of the plane. And then he promotes himself to a general, and then he promotes himself to an admiral, and then he promotes himself to the grand admiral, and he keeps giving himself promotions.
And
it's fucking it's the silliest moment, but it's so earned because this guy has been the one heroic character throughout the entire movie. Him and Rose.
And Rose realizes that they did this with the the voodoo curse. Mm-hmm. And then it happens. The belt sander.
The belt sander returns. And he belt sands. He does not take the belt sander to someone's face this time. He takes the belt sander to the plane.
He just like it's gone from people to boat to plane.
Yes. In the shuffling around. The plan is to get the turbine of the engine running so they can suck Victor Crowley into it.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant plan.
The water's
silly, but
the water rises enough for the Perishan, Sabrina, and Rose to swim out.
Yes. And they do.
While
And then
Dylan-
that's when Sabrina and Rose and Perishan get separated while Dylan's doing the thing with the radio. Sabrina and Rose go off in one direction. There's a scuffle for a cell phone. Sabrina wants the cell phone. And that is when she gets her head smashed by Victor Crowley. And Rose runs back to the plane. Andrew didn't really get far from the plane. He goes back in.
He goes back in to save Dylan because he can't leave Dylan behind because, goddamn, Andrew Young is a hero apparently.
Suddenly,
he's gotten over the cowardice.
Right. And they get the turbine running. They actually get the thing moving, and they get out, and all three of our heroes are together, and there's Victor Crowley standing right in front of the turbine, and it's not in any way strong enough to suck him in,
And,
at all.
And they're like he gets shot in the face with a flare,
and it doesn't do well. Hold on, he gets shot in the face with a flare. It doesn't do anything, and then there's a second shot, and Laura's like, "Let me do it. I've got this," and misses wide.
Well, she picks up the hatchet.
Right, she picks up the hatchet.
Giving a speech about being little and strong and mighty.
And then throws the hatchet and misses entirely.
Right, and it lands at his feet.
Yeah.
Because she's not strong.
And then Andrew takes the second shot, which misses wildly.
And and then this is the moment. This is the moment where I was like, what? Dylan turns to Rose because they've been having an attraction throughout the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Like everything that was written into 3 is fulfilled here.
Right,
with their going back and forth, and he tells Rose, "I'd have had your baby."
Yeah. And you're like, wait, what? And then he dives for Crowley.
Tackles Crowley
into the turbine, and they both go through it, splattering out the other side.
And then, black.
Yep. Credits. It's the end of the movie.
It's the end of the movie.
We have reached the end of another Hatchet movie. And then the credits roll, and then the credits roll. And then what?
There's a scene?
There's a scene?
This is
not a Marvel movie? What are we doing?
This is not a Hatchet movie. What are you doing? Oh, it's a Victor Crowley movie. You can do this now.
Right.
The rules have changed.
Sure. And we see a news report from the site that states that Victor,
Everything.
It's obvious that Victor Crowley is back.
Yes.
For anyone who knows who Victor Crowley is. And it says that this massacre, one of the survivors of the crash, is lone survivor of the previous incident.
10 years ago.
10 years ago, Andrew Young. But, whoever's watching this has pieced together what's going on, that this is Victor Crowley, and then we find out who's watching it. And the person who's watching it is Mary Beth fucking Dunstan, who is very much alive. Very much not dead, as we believed at the end of number 3. So Andrew's not a lone survivor. He's one of 2.
Like, she apparently got away without being picked up and everything.
Right.
Adam wanted her dead. Like, in his world, she was dead. And internet fans said,
Right.
no. Like, he wrote her back alive because the internet told him, no, you're wrong. She's not dead.
She's the star of these movies. And let's face it, she is.
No, she's not. Paris Shen is. I've decided that
There are 3 stars of this movie. There are 3 stars of this franchise now at this point. There's Laura Ortiz, there's Perry Shen, and there's Danielle Harris. We're done here.
And
and any one of them can go away and leave the other 2. But my preference would be that Danielle Harris leaving me with a Laura Ortiz and a Perry Shen. Because I see so much more potential in those 2 being alive than Mary Beth Dunstan.
yes.
Because all Mary Beth is going to do is brood.
And I want my happy, bubbly Danielle Harris.
Right. I want Annie Brackett. I don't want Mary Beth Dunstan. I want Annie Brackett. Or no, just Annie Brackett. So I don't want her to be Jamie Lloyd again. I mean, I do, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to see an adult Jamie Lloyd.
I don't know if I do either.
Yeah.
But we've wrapped up and we need some kills, man.
We do. All right. Best kill. Who you got?
I am. It's horrible, and it plays directly to the 13-year-old in me.
Yeah.
Kathleen, Felisa Rose.
With the arm ripped off and shoved
through her till the phone comes out her mouth.
Okay, that's fair.
It just totally.
That's fair. That's fair.
There's prepubescence here going, oh my god, that's so nasty.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Austin having his the top of his head chopped off and the brains slooping out.
Oh yeah. We forgot to mention the most horrible part of this when we were talking about it in our run through is that his scalp gets sloughed off, his brains fall out, but when he falls in, his scalp gets tossed onto Casey's face.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point. Yes. And I think that BQ is a huge horror movie fan, and he's a huge fan of Friday movies, and he's a huge fan of Kane Hodder. So he got to have a gruesome death at the hands of Kane Hodder as a fan. So I think that adds an extra dynamic to it that makes it fun.
It also makes it a lot fun because I listened to this in the commentary. It originally wasn't supposed to be like that.
No, it got rewritten because Adam Green was like, he's a fan. He's a huge fan. I'd like to rewrite this. He was originally supposed to be the one who got cut in half by the plane.
Yes.
Yeah, so he rewrote it to give him a fan moment. And it's a hell of a kill already.
Yeah.
And you give that to a fan. That makes it my number one. Worst kill.
Worst kill, I'm going to go with Chloe because it's the face stomp again.
Yeah.
And
that's almost my worst.
like, you can't, I know it's cartoonish and over the top, but like there's stuff like the head rip in number 1.
Yeah.
With the wife.
Yeah.
That while cartoonish and over the top looks real.
Yes, very much so.
Within the confines of the reality of the movie.
Right.
The face stomp doesn't.
No,
It looks.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. But it's not my worst kill. Because while even I hate, and I called it out in the last one, that I didn't like the face stomp because it doesn't look real. It looks stupid. The thing that is more jarring to me is the head smash of Sabrina, which you have all of these kills, which some of them look fantastic, some of them look shitty, but they're Victor Crowley kills.
Yeah.
And then you have this head smash, which is not a Victor Crowley kill. It's a fucking Jason Voorhees kill. It scales it back to a Friday the 13th level. Like, that's a kill you would see in a Friday movie. And that would be arguably one of the most gruesome kills in the Friday movie.
And it starts off like it's going to be a huge Victor
And
Crowley
then
kill.
it backs off of it. It
with
backs off of it to be basically what is a standard 80s slasher movie moment, which this movie, more than the other three, have made sure to elevate all those moments.
Yes.
So it felt like it was understated. So that's why it's my least.
Okay.
So
Still going with face stomp.
oh, well, the face stomp is stupid, and I agree, and it's almost my least favorite, except for this weird Jason Voorhees kill that's not
Okay.
in any way sensical. Now, this is a unique thing, so I know you probably don't have any numbers. Financial Corner has been canceled, children.
One day we'll come
Due to
back.
storms, Financial Corner is postponed. We'll see you next time for Financial Corner.
One time we'll come back to do a deep dive on a series that has some financials.
Eventually, one of these days. Shit. All right. Well, I guess that wraps us out
That does
for the Honey Island Swamp Tour.
That
I
does.
mean,
we're
final thoughts for the franchise as a whole, or this movie, or both.
Franchise as a whole, it is not as good as
Anything?
the big franchises.
No, it's not. Nowhere near.
It is better than some franchise. This is better than Leprechauns.
Sure.
This is better than the bulk. This is better than Children of the Corn.
Sure. Certainly.
I've dove into those waters deep.
Yes, I'll grant you that.
I don't know if it's better than Hellraisers because I've never seen Hellraisers.
I would disagree. I'd say the Hellraiser's better. I'm not a big.
There's no disagreeing. I said I don't know.
I know. I'm saying I would, having seen both, I would say that.
But no, you can't say
Hellraisers
both.
is better.
Have you? How far in the Hellraisers have you gone?
I haven't gone. I've gone 4 movies deep at least.
Because I think there's like
13,000 billion. Yeah. No, of the ones I've seen, I enjoy the Hellraisers more than those.
As a franchise, it's better than a lot of the DTV Drek.
Sure. Granted, but
it has a sentimentality and a weird violence ratio.
Yeah, it does.
My inner 80s slasher fan loves it.
See, I don't have that strong an inner 80s slasher fan. I think that's my problem. As a whole, the franchise, I like half of it. I like 2 movies. I like 3 and I like 4. Of Adam's movies, 4 is the only one I really like. It almost feels like this is a draft of a better movie. Like Hatchet's his first draft. Hatchet 2's the second draft, and Victor Crowley's the one he actually, should have made. And it's good. I like Victor Crowley. I would like to see him tackle a little less craziness, like Hatchet 1, with his current level of skill. Yeah.
I'm gonna do something that I often don't do here because
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull a Noah and a Gavin.
Oh God. We're gonna rank something?
It's.
We said we'd never do this.
I know, but
We're not the ranking Blanchards.
we're totally the ranking Blanchards. I put us at 1 and them at 2.
Oh, no, that's
Oh,
not what I
wait.
meant
Oh,
by
sorry.
ranking. And
Oh.
that's... It's Noah's website. That's rude. He'll probably get a kick out of that.
I'm the eldest. It's what I do.
Right. But we're not the ones who rank.
Not normally, but for this one, I feel
Alright, alright, fine.
I go 3, 4, 1, 2.
Whew. Okay. I would also go 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah, it'd be the same. I could make a case of 4, 3, 1, 2.
I
I can make that case because it feels more cohesive even than 3. Like Victor Crowley feels like beginning to end a very cohesive film.
It does.
3 feels like it's reliant on other things, like it's reliant on 2's existence. This one, I know there's a lot of in-jokes, but I've seen the other movies. I don't know if it can exist independently, but I feel like it can.
Yeah.
I feel like you could watch Victor Crowley and be fine. But I feel like if you watch Hatchet 3, you're lost.
And then my thoughts on this as its own as we send out is I feel this movie finally delivers on the promise that I saw in Hatchet.
Gotcha. That's kind of what I was saying with my whole draft comment. I'm definitely more enthused by this movie than I was by the previous 3.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of heartened by the news that Adam Green is continuing with the idea of more hatchets.
Yes.
A 5th one and a 6th one. We'll see. Maybe one of those is the one that I absolutely fucking love. It's not there yet. All right, folks. That does wrap us, though. So we are done now with our Honey Island Swamp tour. Join us here next week for a very special event. We're going to sit down next week. We're going to go as a group, all 4 Blanchard cousins. And we're going to see Halloween 2018, the David Gordon Green Halloween movie.
Halloween.
Halloween, or Hate-teen, as I've been calling it. And we're going to do a very special Blanchard Halloween event launching next week for you. That's going to be awesome. Afterwards, after that event, join us back here where we are going to go to a very special meeting of the Gale Weathers Book Club. That's right, folks. We're going to take a stab, pun intended, at the Scream franchise. That's what I'm picking next for us.
You know what I like about that?
Yeah.
It is finally the mid-ground of our tastes, I think.
It is. I think this is a place where we'll both be happy, where neither one of us is going to be annoyed at the pick the other one made. So, folks, check us out after Halloween, after the Halloween special, for the Gale Weathers Book Club. Until then, we've got a big Halloween event for you next week. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to have that episode posted on Friday.
I hope we enjoy it.
Oh, I hope we enjoy the movie too, but I hope you enjoy our podcast, folks. I have been Matthew Blanchard.
I have been Patrick Blanchard.
We have been the Brothers Blanchard, once more paying the late fees so you don't have to.
We don't